New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentlelady from Illinois for yielding her time. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of my bill, H.R. 5736, the Transnational White Supremacist Review Act. Today, our country faces a wide range of complex threats to our safety, our security, and our way of life. Not only are American families having to keep their communities safe and their economy together in the face of COVID, but in large swaths of the country, they're doing so while dealing with more frequent and catastrophic natural disasters. Sadly, though, amidst all of this, terrorism does not stop. The Homeland Security threat posed by white supremacist extremists is pervasive and it is persistent. And extremists exploit such crises as we are in right now. Often this involves the targeting of the most vulnerable in society. Earlier this year, the directors of the FBI and the National Counterterrorism Center testified before our committee regarding the unrelenting nature of bad actors during times like these. Both testified to the significant Homeland Security threat posed from racially motivated domestic actors, primarily white supremacist extremists. In my capacity as chair of the Intelligence and Counterterrorism Subcommittee, I've joined with my colleagues to raise the alarm about this threat. And in carrying out my work on the committee, I've identified a common theme, and that is plain and simple, that this white supremacist domestic terrorist problem is in fact not domestic at all. It's global in nature. Look no further than the deadly attacks in El Paso, Texas, and Poway, California last year. The U.S. experienced firsthand the ramifications of an international white supremacist movement when two domestic actors independently drew inspiration from the foreign terrorists who committed the Christchurch, New Zealand attack. Troublingly, there are reports that white supremacist groups have adapted recruitment tactics and begun using training camps modeled after jihadist groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Just last week, a former Trump administration counterterrorism official confirmed that training by foreign groups is happening when she acknowledged that there have been instances when our foreign counterterrorism partners have alerted us to the fact that U.S. citizens were in their countries to conduct trainings or participate in trainings with white supremacist movements. These foreign partners told this former official, that the U.S. is an exporter of this ideology and must address this problem. This is exactly what this bill today seeks to address, a bill designed to send a message to our foreign partners that Congress hears them and is taking action. This bill would require DHS to produce and circulate a threat assessment on foreign violent white supremacist extremist groups to local law enforcement. It would also push social media companies to do so much more in addressing this threat. Crucially, this bill includes civil rights and civil liberties safeguards as well. Countering white supremacy will require a whole of society approach, education, awareness, and so on. Through our work on this committee, we found that Americans stay safest when law enforcement at all levels is equipped with the best available information. This bill makes sure that our frontline responders in the law enforcement community have just that. It's endorsed by the ADL, an expert advocacy group that has tracked the white supremacist threat for decades. It is also endorsed by the Blue Dog Coalition, a group that looks past partisanship and advocates for common sense national security solutions. With that, I urge my colleagues to vote yes on this passage. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields to gentleman.